This is Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam's biggest and busiest city. It's hot, chaotic, loud, intense, and it's full on from the moment you step outside. In this video I'm checking out some of the main attractions around the city, the spots most people visit when they come here, and giving you a feel for what Saigon is really like. It's a city that hits you fast, but it's definitely worth exploring.
So I'm just heading now to the Cafe Apartments, which is TikTok and Instagram's maybe most popular part of Saigon. So I'm expecting lots of people there taking lots of pictures, and I've just looked into the history of the place and it's quite interesting. It used to be government buildings that have now been converted and are being used as multiple cafes, but it's all being done illegally, so they shouldn't really be cafes, so lots of them get evicted and stuff. So it seems like a bit of an interesting business model to me, and it seems interesting that the Saigon government don't allow these cafes to operate, seeing as it seems to be one of the most popular things to do here. But who knows, maybe I'll find out when I get there. Not as busy as I was anticipating. Right, don't go in there. I think you go in here to get in to cafes. Definitely don't go in there. Looks like I'm taking the stairs. Right, Choco Vine, chocolate, coffee and wine. I like 2 of those, so that's enough of a percentage for me to go in and give it a go. Hello. Hello. Thank you. You okay? Hello. Thank you. Ooh. 7 cookies?
Yes.
Lovely. Yeah. I'll have one of those cookies, please. I'm happy with this. Happy to have found a cookie. I haven't had a cookie in 3 months, which is very out of character for me. I get through a lot of cookies in England. As soon as I saw that, I was like, bosh, yeah, cookie it is. Cookie and an egg coffee with a beautiful view. I mean, there's a lot of scaffolding in that view, admittedly, but everything else is pretty cool. Got the Saigon Square. It's got the river over there. Look at that. Cookie, egg coffee, a view. Happy days.
This is the Ho Chi Minh Statue, right in the centre of the city. It was unveiled in 2015 to replace an older statue to mark the 40th anniversary of the end of the war. Ho Chi Minh was the revolutionary leader who helped unify Vietnam and is still seen as the father of modern Vietnam, so the spot is pretty symbolic. What I found interesting though is that on both sides of the statue you've now got some of the most high-end designer shops in Saigon, so it's a little bit ironic when you think about a communist icon standing in the middle of Gucci and Louis Vuitton. I did a river cruise along the Saigon River and it was a really great way to see the city. Great views of the skyline, a live band playing and a really nice relaxed atmosphere. And the best part, it only cost about $8, so for the price it's definitely worth doing whilst you're there.
Tòa nhà Landmark 81 hiện là một trong những tòa nhà cao nhất Đông Nam Á.
được thiết kế Việt Nam. Just say xin chào Việt Nam.
This is Book Street, and this started in 2016 as a place to celebrate reading and culture. I have to say, it didn't really blow me away. It's worth a quick stop, and if you like books, happy days, but there's not a lot to it really. Next up is the War Remnants Museum. It's one of the most visited places in Saigon, and it focuses on the Vietnam War from the Vietnamese perspective. Inside you'll find photographs, stories, old military equipment and exhibitions that are pretty tough to look at. I didn't film much inside because it just didn't seem appropriate, but it's an important place to visit if you want to understand more about the history and what the country went through.
That was a tough couple of hours. Certainly not for the light-hearted. Some pretty gruesome stuff in there. Glad I did it. It's not an enjoyable experience. It's full of the horrors of war, and yeah, loads of stuff that I knew nothing about really. We've got, you know, witness testimonies, you've got confessions from people that have gone on to be American senators, and all sorts of, yeah, just pretty harrowing stuff really, but definitely worth a visit. It's one of those that probably impacted me more than I thought it would, because having been here for 3 months now and having been treated so kindly and so warmly by the Vietnamese people, having kind of, I don't know, I suppose I feel a little bit of an affinity with the Vietnamese people now, because I've spent so much time here, and I've certainly spent a lot more time with the local people than I have with expats, etc. To hear in graphic detail of the suffering that they struggled and everything that happened, it was yeah, it was definitely tough and emotional.
Finally, I headed out to the Chi tunnels, about an hour outside of Saigon. These tunnels were used by the Viet Cong during the Vietnam War, an underground network stretching for hundreds of kilometres with living areas, supply routes and hidden entrances.
If you want to, you can try out the hidden underground bunkers that the Viet Cong used to hide in. As you can see, for 6'2", for me, this was a little bit of a struggle. I couldn't have stayed in there as long as those lads did.
Tight. You get to see some of the booby traps they use, which are pretty shocking to look at up close.
The tour guides explain how these booby traps weren't all designed to kill, but were designed to hurt and to maim the American soldiers and leave them with PTSD and infections, so that they go back to America and tell everyone never to go to Vietnam. It was all pretty brutal. There's also a shooting range where you can use weapons that have been left over from the war, and I opted for the AK-47. Finally, you finish the tour by following one of the guides through the tunnels. Now, this section has actually been widened for tourists. It used to be even smaller back in reality, and I have to say it was pretty uncomfortable being down there. I was glad I was at the front behind the professional, because the thought of getting stuck behind someone else would have been pretty scary, I think. So, well worth doing, but If you have any kind of claustrophobia, definitely give it a miss. There's another exit on the left. Oh. Whew. Yes,
Hooray.
thank you. Whew.
Last one.
That was good.
Congratulations. You did it.
Would have been nicer if it was longer. Another 100 metres.
Yeah. So Saigon concludes my nearly 4-month tour of Vietnam, and it was supposed to be 3 months, but I had some visa issues towards the end. Caused me quite a lot of stress, and as a result of that I didn't cover half the stuff that I wanted to about Saigon. It's just mainly tourist attractions and stuff when you're there. I want to go back, and I'm going to go back in the early part of next year because there's so much more to the city that I didn't cover. You've got an amazing restaurant scene, you've got a great bar scene, you've got great street food. There's loads more to it, and there's loads of things that I want to cover, like getting around. The taxis are extremely cheap. There's good public transport systems. There's lots to Saigon that I didn't get to cover in the video that I want to go back, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to do. But it was still a brilliant way to end my time in Vietnam. I can't wait to go back there next year. I think Saigon is going to be my starting point next year, and then I'm going to cover lots and lots of the different places that I didn't manage to get to go to this time. But all in all, despite the visa issues, it didn't take away with what was an incredible 4 months in Vietnam. I fell in love with the country, and I can't wait to go back.